Hi, I'm Edward Hobbs and welcome to this month's market video. Lots to get through today as I catch up from having some time off over the Easter break. Firstly, let's turn our attention to the upcoming federal election, with the Real Estate Institute of Australia being quite vocal, calling on governments to create big picture structural changes to enable supply and property deal with the decreasing issue of affordability, says President Hayden Groves. He goes on to say that property listings have continued to plummet despite strong buyer demand, which is seeing record prices still being achieved in most markets across the nation. Next is interest rates, which is dominating the headlines, with talks of an imminent rise from the banks like the NAB and ANZ, predicting it could be as early as next week's Reserve Policy Board meeting. Bond traders have also certain the RBA will start a series of rate increases as early as next week, despite the federal election, after annual consumer inflation surged to its highest level in more than 20 years. The inflation figures released through the week show consumer prices climbed at over 5%, the cost of housing up 13% over the year, plus the cost of petrol up an astounding 35%, are doing the most damage. We now expect the RBA to hike by 15 basis points next week, said David Plank, head of Australian economies at the ANZ. Checking the Heron Todd White National Property Clock pegs Melbourne at the peak of the market, which is interesting as we are finding some price segments beginning to slow, giving buyers better value purchasing propositions. Having said this, across units and houses, sales for the team is closing in on 40 transactions for the month as we film today. Realestate.com.au have just released an article flagging what property prices could look like in the next 5 years, depending if you were lucky enough to have purchased before the pandemic and prior to the latest market boom. For example, Richmond back in 2017 had a median house price of $1,227,000, with a 20% increase taking you to today's median price of $1,467,000. Looking at 2027, median prices with a 3% inflation rate of growth comes in just over 1.7, or with the recent rate of growth predicting just over 1,750,000. To finish up, auction bookings are very solid through May, with over 30 properties booked so far. Interesting, election day, the 21st, is shaping up to be a big one, with over 10 properties going under the hammer. Well, that's all we got time for today, viewers. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again in a fortnight.